Well, good morning, and every day we rise is a great day to be alive. And welcome to the Portsmouth Coffee Talk Podcast 2025. And with co-hosts, Leah Drake Stitt and Thomas the Colonel Chapman. I'm James Lim Overton, and we are here starting off the new year with our hot topics. So we won't delay any further, so we'll get started. Colonel, you want to start off with the hot topics this year?
Oh yes, I'll start off. Good morning, everybody, and
Good morning.
Good morning.
yes, and good morning to everybody on Electron Land. First, I'd like to say thank you for showing up and watching us this morning, especially on our first show of the year. And I think that true to form, we'll talk about the hot topics. And the hot topics is one, we have to pay homage and honor to Jimmy Carter, and that he was passed away at age 100. That we will honor him with a state funeral on the on the 9th of January.
Mm-hmm.
And in true form to our nation's history, we honor passing presidents with a 30-day honorary of having the flags at half mast. But for those out there, especially our sixth grade educated MAGA friends and that trifling folk that's getting ready to come into White House, he is so mad that the flags will be at half mast honoring a true president, a good man, that he wants the flags to be flown during his inauguration on the 20th, his installation on the 20th, at full mast. Now, I looked it up in the law. He can do that right after he has taken the presidency. But as of now, our last true president, Joe Biden, said these flags, by our traditions, will be at half mast. So for those who see if he does this, and if Trump does order the flags to be at full mast, turn your back. For those in the House of representatives are turning, any true people, turn your back on this joker, and and with a silent protest, because he cares nothing about anybody other than his own vain, trifling self. So now that I've gotten that off my chest, it is giving you a forewarning of what I think about what this true, what is going to happen in this first year. So issues, I'll go down one by one, and I'll start off with healthcare. It was one of the crowning achievements for the Biden-Harris administration. 90, let's see, what is that percentage there? At the end of 23, 91.3 Americans, uninsured Americans, that 91.3 Americans had some form of health care in this nation. So when you lose your health care under what we call Obamacare, which is actually the ACA, for those who are thinking that ACA and Obamacare are one of the same, or not one of the same, where Trump takes it away, and they're probably going to do it by not renewing the subsidies and make it more expensive. You know that Trump did that to you. Trump and the Republicans did that to you. And then so I think that as we go into this new year in this new regime, not administration, but the regime with this mob boss and all his accolades, watch what they do to you. And so I'll got another monologue for that, what I'm trying to get to, but I'll let Leah go to Leah.
Well, what a way to start. And we're looking at the changes which will take place in America over the next 4 years. Well, prayerfully the next 2 years, because then we will have another chance to elect the members of the House of Representatives. So, and prayerfully, people will begin to see what type of government is coming into place. And we can make sure that we get those individuals elected who can kind of block some of the legislature that he is planning to propose. So we do have that option. We're 2 years of paying prayerfully. And then after 2 years, we can or at least claim the House, and we will be in a better place. Also, in looking at hot topics, I know we started on a national level, and I thank you for honoring Jimmy Carter, President Carter, who was a great man, who proved to be a great man. He didn't get the accolades that he should have gotten while president, but he did get it once he left office. And he and his wife did do a lot of service for the country. And it's a shame that the man coming into office does not see the need to allow the flags to fly at half staff for such a great man. But then, of course, he thinks there are none great but himself. So we would go from that level. But also in the city of Portsmouth, we've had reorganization in the city of Portsmouth, in as much as a new council has taken place, and they've reorganized the council. We now have 2 women seated on the council. James, I think that this may be the first, or was Elizabeth and Marlene on at the same time? I was trying to remember.
You know, I was trying to remember that as well. It seemed like it was, but I should have looked that up. But
Yeah,
anyway, it's been a long time since we've had
like
2
2 women to
women up there.
serve. And you know, and the exciting thing is, 2 women can make a difference. Hopefully, they can calm the tiger in the men who tend to sometimes go over the rail. So hopefully, these 2 ladies, Kitty Bryan and Yolanda Edmonds Thomas, will be able to bring about some calmness to the council. And we need calmness on the council in Portsmouth, because if you notice, Portsmouth, Suffolk is catching up with Portsmouth in population, which
They
means
have passed us. They have actually passed us.
past us. Where people
Yeah.
moving to Suffolk, they're leaving Portsmouth, they're moving to Suffolk. So we got to look at that. We got to look at something that's going to draw people to the city. And as long as the council is not functioning as a council should function, we will continue to lose people from the city of Portsmouth. So hopefully we can come in on a positive note and help to do some great things in Portsmouth to encourage people to come back to Portsmouth. And one more thing, Colonel, while I'm talking about 2 ladies, the first time in the Senate of the United States, we have 2 ladies who will be members of the Senate. This is so amazing, because we've not had, since we had Carol Mosley Braun, then we had Madam Vice President, but now we have 2 women who will be 2 African American women who will serve in the Senate. One is from Maryland and one is from Delaware, and we salute them on this morning, and we hope to see great things coming from them as well.
And Leah, you know, it's great to celebrate that, but it's in a way it's kind of sad to think about, as long as this country has been in existence,
Thank you.
that
Thank you.
we're celebrating now here in 2025 2 women in Congress, and going back to locally. Go
Or
ahead.
2 women on council.
Yeah, I was going to say, going back to local, 2 women, and I've always been a proponent of our council representing the population. So I was hoping for another, at least 2 women on council. And, as far as the white black thing, that's going to go back and forth each time we have election. But hopefully, we'll see some a balance with our council this time. And I guess also to be noted that they elected Vice Mayor Moody as Councilman Moody as vice mayor. And a lot of people thought it might be Hugo. And because of his involvement, you see him everywhere. And that's what people like to see. But it was reported that he didn't want it. So then it went to Moody. And sometimes maybe it's good to have a sort of, since we live in this community, a black-white situation in the leadership. It doesn't really matter. And it brought me back to a show we had. Did it matter locally if our politicians were Republican or Democrat? And it's known now that Moody is Republican, and there might be some other ones. It's some other one, Dotson, on the council. So we'll see how much that matters locally. Hopefully, it doesn't affect local politics with what their affiliation is as far as their party. But that's to be seen. But we did have that discussion, on one of our shows, is that would make a difference. So that is a hot topic here in the city of Portsmouth. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah.
And while we're talking about Portsmouth, it would be sad on our parts if we did not offer our prayers for Pastor Blunt, who is currently in the hospital, and we're praying that God will bless him and take care of his family, give his family the strength that they would need in order to be by his side during his time of recovery. And we do pray for him. We pray for his family, and we pray that God's will be done and that he will put a protective arm around them, and that Pastor Blunt will get well soon. So our prayers go out to Pastor Blunt and his family as well.
Yes, indeed. A real servant of the community.
Exactly.
I like to follow up on one thing that both of y'all said, especially Slim, what you said, when we talk about somebody's political affiliations on the council. And so, yes, the Republicans that we know that are going to be up there and how their policies will roll out, it will not be in darkness, because we will be watching you. So regardless of your party affiliation, we will be watching you. And I think 4 years ago, we started watching what we call the Four Horsemen. And now there are none. There are none, zero. Two of them been vanquished. And actually, I'm watching the legal process handed out for the last one that's having a lot of problems. And I even hate to say his name. As he goes through his legal process and see if he goes into if he'll be able to escape justice and go into the system, and if he escapes justice because the Commonwealth attorney lets him go. So that's another hot topic for next year as we go in for the next round of elections. So I'd like to hear from the Commonwealth attorney next year also.
Amazingly that you talked about the next year of elections on Saturday. Speaker Don Scott had a jazz brunch, and at that jazz brunch, he gave each of the constitutional candidates an opportunity to have their petitions signed at that event. It was a well-attended event. I'm sure there were over 500 or more people there. It was a continuous movement event, a very well-planned event, unending food, it seemed, and unending music, it seemed, and the camaraderie among the citizens was very good. And I'm hoping that feeling of camaraderie and unity that was displayed at that event will continue in the city of Portsmouth, because it is truly needed. So it was an amazing event given by Speaker Don Scott on Saturday, which and to open his event so that everyone would have an opportunity to get their petitions signed. I thought that was a plus. I had not seen that take place before in the city of Portsmouth. So it was a great event on Saturday.
Yeah, it looks like it was a great show of unity. You wonder, the term that we often heard Senator Lucas say, no permanent friends in politics, no permanent enemies in politics. And there have been some things in the past, with the Commonwealth Attorney and other leadership. So, I guess at certain times it's time to come together and do what's right. And one of the things I hope that they do as they go out and start campaigning, I understand the importance of what went on Saturday. You know, you have to raise money, so you have to have certain people there that can contribute, but have those same type of events where other people can come.
Well, actually,
The other voters can be there, because at those events like that, which I'll repeat, are necessary, especially in the beginning, but you know, they are already your supporters and donors, you know, so make sure you do those same kind of things with the food for the everyday voters out there, and make
but
sure you mingle with them. That's always been my kind of pet
yeah,
peeve.
yeah.
You know, I understand the necessity of it, and as far as raising money, but you got to get out there to the people. That's where I think we sort of were missing some things in the last election cycle, nationally and locally. Being out there, being accessible to the people, and making sure the people know what's going on, you know,
Well,
with
actually,
you. And
yeah.
you got to earn that vote. Don't assume.
But actually, James, this event on Saturday, it was no charge to the event, and the event was open to the public. Uh, there was an invite on social media, so it was open to the public. So a lot of people there who I generally do not see at political events. So it was open to the public. There was no fee charged. All
Okay,
you had
so
to do, all
that
you had
was a
to
beginning. Yeah.
Yeah, all you had to do was to register so that he could
Okay.
know how many people were going to attend, so that he could prepare
Mhm.
accordingly based upon the numbers. So it was open to the public. They did put it on social media, and like as I said, I saw a lot of people at that event that I typically do not see at political functions. So he did just what you were saying needed to be done, James.
Okay,
Yes.
so I guess they've been listening. That's good.
Yes.
Yes.
Thanks.
Well, you know what?
While we're on the local thing, I just want this is a fun note here. You know, our own Dorian Finney-Smith is
Yeah.
now, he's been to different teams, the Mavericks and then the Nets, and now he's with the Lakers. You know,
Lakers.
which that's saying a lot to him, that the Lakers traded for him, or he was
Exactly.
traded to the Lakers. That his worth, and listening to reports, he's already gotten in the game and trying to get acclimated to the
Yeah.
system.
Yeah.
He scored 8 points in the last outing, but they needed someone with his style of play there with the Lakers. You know, the
Mhm.
defensively, and his his aggressiveness. So
Mhm.
that's a big thing. Him going to the Lakers. Sometimes you move with
Exactly.
different teams, but hopefully this is a great fit for him. And I
Mhm.
believe he's going to work his way into that starting lineup.
Mhm. Mhm. All I can say is go Greyhound.
Yeah, go
Go
Greyhounds.
Greyhound.
Some humble beginnings right here in the city of Portsmouth.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm. Yes. Yes, and it's always a good thing. But getting back to the elections, though, especially local and state elections, you know, we have a governorship coming up, and the attorney general, and in the lieutenant governorship is coming up for the next year. And we talk about the GOP, they're putting up the same old crowd again. And Miss Hairdo is running for the governorship this again. Miss Spears with her
Yes.
gun. So you'll be seeing these commercials will be coming out, especially with on the other side about the lion. And I've already seen a couple more commercials, state function commercials by the attorney general that says he's going to help us with the crime here in Portsmouth, who has done nothing.
Well, he said he was going to do it before, Colonel.
Yeah, it's
He
done
came to a
nothing.
meeting. He came to a
Yeah.
meeting, and nothing came out of that meeting.
Nothing came out of the meeting, and he hadn't been back since. Hadn't sent a dime back here. No programs, no grants, no nothing. Has done nothing. But he's going to be asking for your vote again.
Yeah,
So,
I think it's going to be a tough ride, because we got some great candidates running for lieutenant governor and attorney general.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
So fool me once, fool me twice, and you the fool, boo boo the fool.
Amen.
But Boo Boo the Fool will vote again because we have these low sixth grade educated, low information voters that are out there that have propelled the White House, folks into the Senate, House, and also the presidency. And we have to turn our backs on them and get out and vote again to get our country back.
Yeah.
And I say get our country back because it has been stolen.
Yes.
And they are going to do everything they want to do. Go ahead,
on that point, you've seen a lot of people now and we saw the chaos with the speaker, and the speakership.
Yes.
And in most cases, and this is the second time we've seen chaos between them trying to pick their speaker. And usually, it's a done deal when it's organized. Whoever is the speaker, he just, on the Democrat side, he just goes back in there unless he doesn't want to. But it got crazy, and they playing games with each other, and it's kind of crazy. And I've seen other people say they're gonna kind of turn to the black folks for help, and they're gonna need the Democrats, and they're gonna need the black people. But we're gonna sit back and just watch them explode, and do their thing. And since I said that, I want to play a little something. I listened to Karen Hunter, and we had Steve Bannon came on. He's out of jail. And hit the ground running. So
hit the ground running.
As I mentioned, Steve Bannon is trying to drag black people in. Black people do not fall for this. This is a freaking trap. He needs us apparently. All right, I'm gonna see if you can see where he's trying it. Okay. All right, play that clip, Smith. Play the clip on affirmative.
Why should an American citizen, his family's been here 5 or 6 generations, that can go to college, get a degree, and is smart enough, why should they have to compete against the world on the territory inside the United States? It's not fair. Until Silicon Valley, until these places have, 20% African American and 20% Hispanic, I'd like to put an exit visa on every college graduate, foreign student that graduated from college here in 30 days to leave and go back home and help make their nation great again. And we shouldn't take any foreign students in community colleges. That should be for American citizens, particularly for African Americans and Hispanics. They're never.
So that's him responding to Elon Musk talking about bringing the people from other countries for the tech world because we're not prepared for it. And now, if you listen to what he was saying, what does that sound like? Affirmative action. Something that they fought to get rid of. And now he's talking about the opportunities that Black and brown folks need in order to achieve. And like I said, that's a direct response to Elon Musk saying they got to bring in foreign people because we don't have the people over here technically sound in order to do some of the things that he wants done.
Yes.
Isn't that amazing how now they need us?
Well, they're going to implode because the Elon Musk and Swami Ramajani, however you say his name, I apologize for not pronouncing his name correctly.
That's close enough.
But but it's going to be a battle between them and the Banyan group and that other group. They are going to implode. And it's also going to implode because each one has an ego so big that is not going to make it to the White House very well. Do you hear me? Because Donald Trump's ego is big. Their ego is big. Then you got the little side group out there who supports him. It's not going to work out.
Too many alpha egos.
It's going to implode, and it's going to implode quickly too.
Well,
he's tired of him being at Mar-a-Lago. He really wants him to leave, but he got him a little place at Mar-a-Lago where he just stays right up under Trump. But it's not going to last long. Egos are too big.
He'll last as long as that he's already bought him the presidency, and Trump actually being the president, and he is scared of his prime minister, who is Musk. He's scared of him because he's the richest man in the world, and he can't win. If I do jettison him, he could turn his back on and turn that money into over to the other side. which he does not. He's afraid of. And then so their one agenda is to pass this one big reconciliation bill.
Yes.
One bill. And that's what he did the last time. One bill, one big tax cut for the rich. And it will add almost $7.5 trillion to the deficits. Over and above that. You know, our debt interest payments is going to be more than what we pay for the Department of Defense. Just think about that. You think these interest rates on everything else, on these houses and your credit cards and everything is high? When they pass this one bill, and this one bill says, I want to get the big tax cut, dropping the corporate rate, capital gains rate down to 15%. And do the immigration, meaning I'm going to build this, go back to the same old rhetoric of pulling the big wall and building these concentration camps and deporting all the others, all the brown people out of the country. When we talk about the others being here illegally, going back to Steve Bannon, he's trying to, he singled out that 20% African American and Hispanics, 20%. Never will you see them saying about the blue-eyed, blonde-haired, European descent kids that came over here from Europe that came over into school, went to Princeton or went into all these universities and have stayed. No mention of that. So the underpinnings of everything they have is race baiting. It's all about race. It's about the others. And then so we can't be fooled on what they say or how they say it. It's all about race. And then so going back to the big bill, once they get back that, then they also have to tackle the way they want to do on the reconciliation, because it has to have a pay for. They have to look at $2.5 trillion of tax savings on paper to pay for some of it. So I've seen some of the plans. They're saying, well, we can make out so many $1 trillion if we put these, tariffs on. But tariffs are only temporary. So what they're going to do is we'll put the big tariffs on them, pass the bill, and then before it affects the economy so bad, they'll drop them off. And so the deficit will even explode even worse, which will turn around and says, we're going to have to do something with it. So all the heating assistance, since it's cold outside, we have to get rid of that stuff. Social Security, we're going to have to raise the age, cut down on the benefits, cut down on who's eligible for it, and so forth. And Medicare, we're going to have to raise that age. Your premiums will go up. Your mention the ACA, those premiums will go up because they want to get rid of the healthcare piece entirely. They want to get the federal government out of it. So what they're going to do is when the subsidies that help pay for the premiums are due at the end of the year, they'll just make a line item 0 to it, and it'll be so expensive people will have to drop their plans. So they are after everything good that previous administrations have put out there.
But you know, the good piece is you still have a few fiscally conservative Republicans who are serving. You have that, I think it was 9 who really opposed Johnson in the beginning in getting his chairmanship. And those 9, I'm sure that there are probably others, but you still have a few fiscally conservatives who are serving, who will not want to see that take place. And I think that they're going to go against. I think they're going to go against Johnson and the president. I really do.
If that's the case, I'm not holding out hope for him, because A lot of Republicans will talk that stuff, but when it comes down to it, they vote with the Trump administration. And then we do have a lot of weak-kneed Democrats that are going to vote or be scared for their own reelection when Prime Minister Musk comes to their district and say, I'm going to put in, so many tens of millions of dollars against you to put another person out there to primary you or to get you out of office. And so I think they're going to get it through. But the end point is America has to hurt for America to wake up. But let me get one point that I just came across with. Mississippi State has agreed to small HBCU school. They're going to march in the inaugurations parade.
Sell your soul for a dollar.
It is. And they were the Trump regime was given $90 million and said, I'm not going to give you nothing. You raise your own money.
And they need $200 and some thousand and put out a fundraiser for us to pay for it.
Yeah. And then so Musk says, I'll pay for you. I'll pay for y'all young black folks to come out there and put on your mask and dance and wiggle around to do that. I'll pay for it. So the president of the Mississippi State, who is scared of the governor there, they don't get their funding taken away. But if I had a child that's in the band, I would say, tell that child, if you show up for that thing, don't come home. Because your administration at the school don't care about your reputation. And so the slavery mindset of those folks down there, because they still live in slavery down there in Mississippi. Grow a set. Finally put it down. And if you do go there, don't even play a song, just march.
Don't even march. Just walk.
Walk. Don't play a song.
Don't march.
Yeah. And if you play a song, we shall overcome.
Hey, Dennis White.
You already got your check.
Dennis White has written something here. Dennis White, our good Truxton friend who now lives in the Michigan area, says this election had zero to do with the economy, immigration, or crime. When President Obama was elected for 8 years, many white folks lost their minds. It boiled down to racism. MAGA and conservative Republicans will collide at some point. The Republicans don't know how to govern. Period. Drop the mic, Dennis. Drop the mic, Dennis.
Drop the mic.
Drop the mic.
It is. And
thanks, Dennis. And we encourage other people to give their comments as well.
Yeah.
Exactly. But James, in mentioning HBCUs, and I know we are all over the place this morning.
Yeah, well, that's what Hot Topics is, all over the place.
Okay. But I must say, welcome, Michael Vick, to Norfolk State University. Behold the green and gold. Welcome, Michael Vick. And prayerfully he can make a difference for our athletes. And prayerfully he can recruit some of these young men who are not going to be able to go to these other institutions.
Yeah, you already got a 5-star quarterback coming out of Atlanta that wants to come there.
Yes, so it's going to be, hopefully, we get ready. We get ready for Michael Vick and NSU football.
Let's discuss that a little bit, because also at Delaware State, who is a part of the same conference as Norfolk State, they have a ex-football player that played with Michael Vick with the Eagles. I can't think of his name. His name,
Jackson. Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah. And you've had some people say that, and it's good for the universities to have that name brand, but they're getting these guys that have no coaching experience to come in. And my thing is that they're going to surround themselves with people that have the experience.
Exactly.
I think the main thing, especially when it comes down to the HBCUs on the levels that they are coming to, need that kind of exposure. We are already seeing the effect that Michael Vick is having on Norfolk State.
Yes.
I've seen stories nationally, all over the place about that move. So it's already bringing tension and people struggling how to say Norfolk. But long as they're mentioning this area, and then they talk about the whole area. And I heard Dr. Greg Carr, when he was talking about Norfolk State, mention Portsmouth as the surrounding area, because Vic came from Portsmouth, and so it's bringing attention to the whole Hampton Roads area. And I think it's good for it, as far as the people that complain about guys that have the experience not getting the opportunity. Right now, we have to think about what's best for the university, as far as keeping them open and bringing the money, putting people in the seats. It's probably going to be hard to get a ticket to the first few Norfolk State games.
Yes.
And I believe people will stay after halftime, like they leave after halftime now. And Colonel, those pregame ceremonies they have out there in the parking lot, I believe those people will be going into the gate then as well. So it's already showing some kind of effects, and we need that. And plus, bringing that money in will trickle over on to the education side, because I think some of that money goes towards the university as a whole, doesn't it, Leah? Or at least the recognition.
Yeah. But
the athletic departments support most of the academic programs across the country. That's why you see the big schools, they put so much butt into academics, because the stadiums are full and they get the endorsements and all that money, or a large proportion of that money, actually goes into the infrastructure of the university. But I will say of the Michael Vick signing, I was and still am perplexed on of the signing. And yes, it's a good signing. He has no coaching experience, like as Slim says, and I believe that yes, there will be a sugar high. In the first few games, it'll be hard to get a ticket, because people will want to go out and see what the Michael Vick show is. But I think the big thing too is that, and I hope the lesson that he impacts on these young kids is that one, fame and fortune is fleeting. You can use me as an example, meaning him, saying that I had fame, fortune that I threw away because I did not know how to let my boys go. I thought I was above the law. My name wasn't Trump when I'm above the law. And two is when you do have, especially with NIL, when you do get a chance to that money, what you do with the money. And your education is something that you have to get, because one, Vic went to Tech 3 years, and after all, 10 years later, 10, 15 years later, he don't have enough credits, doesn't have a degree, and not enough credits to get his associate degree. So, but your education will always be there. So get educated also. Get your education as you come through, and take advantage of these scholarships and the opportunities that HBCU schools will afford you. So for those kids that keep continuing to go to these PWI schools that will use you, and go down to Mississippi, Arkansas, and the SEC schools across the nation, and it will use you as indentured servants or slaves to bring money into those schools. And the minute you hurt your knee, or the minute you can't start, that you will be back at home and you're sitting at your grandmama's table with your feet under there trying to get some grits, and you didn't get any relative good credits, because they told you for you to keep academic eligible, you need to major in football. Come to an HBC school where you can ball out, make the numbers, and you can achieve that dream of going to the pros if that's your dream. but you will be educated and you will get the lessons of life.
Kim, you brought up something about the degree. You know, I guess to coach in college, you don't have to need a degree. Now, maybe in that contract he has that while he's coaching, he has to pursue that. You know, that has to be a part of it. I thought that you had, you know, to be a head coach, you had to have a degree. So hopefully that's part of the contract. And I agree with you. The lessons learned from someone that has a history like that, because the first thing they brought up when it was announced about his dogfighting, you know, troubles, and sometimes bringing somebody like that in with that kind of experience, the lessons go beyond the X's and the O's of the football player, of the football field. You know, lessons coming from someone that has been there, experienced, been up, down, all around, you know, can be something. And hopefully he talks more about that, or at least equally about that as he does about football. And I think it's in him to do that because he's been doing that since he's been out, but not on that level, not on the college level with youngsters.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was part of his redemption tour, because part of the probationary period of when he got out, he had to talk about it. But now that the period is over, and with his education, because he got a few jobs as an announcer, but if he would have gotten his education and learned how to talk amongst the media, he might have survived and still been out here making more money as an announcer. But now that he's gotten another redemption chip because of his name, and North State throwing him a lifeline, needs to go ahead and even expand on those lessons learned, meaning learn how to talk, communicate. It will last you longer than those tattoos on your neck and forehead, like the rest of these athletes get. And they wonder why they don't get hired post-retirement from the athletic leagues.
Yeah, because if you look out throughout the CIAA, a lot of the coaches in the CIAA union and Virginia State, these coaches have PhDs.
Yeah.
They're doctor coach, you know. So and I think that says something to their players too, that how important education is. I'm a coach, but look, I have my PhD. I played ball, I'm coaching now, but I still pursued more than just my undergrad degree. So that's, you know, so that's why I hope it's something in his contract that says, you know, while you're coaching, you have to pursue your degree, because that would be also an even bigger example of you know, to show to his players, because a lot of players come out of the football system and don't graduate because they think they're going to the NFL.
Yeah.
And that percentage is slim and none, slim. And especially for us. And that's why I started on that monologue of not going down, sell yourself down south to the SEC and these other PWI schools that you're not going to graduate.
Yeah, let me bring this up. It's January 6th, right?
Yeah.
And we know what happened last January 6th, and it's a lot of talk. But today, they have to certify the election. And guess who signs off on it?
And Kamala Harris has to certify it.
Yeah, but you know, the integrity that she has. You know, she's going to do it, and it's going to go through the Senate. Unlike, and it's just so strange how everything is all right with this election, but before November, he was talking, this probably going to be stolen, but you haven't heard anything, any rumblings. You know, when you win, everything went well. But, you know, it's going to be.
That's what Hakeem Jeffries told him, you know. His speech, Hakeem Jeffries' speech, he laid it out to them. He said, and you will see, we have no election deniers in this room.
Yes.
None at all. You know? So.
But, yes. And that speech was great. But they still need to have a form of being I know they want to talk. The Democrats want to talk bipartisanship, but they are part of the Lowell opposition, and so I hope Harris shows up and Democrats show up and wear all black, like we're going to a funeral. Because on the 20th, the lights of America go off. That is a statement by itself. The lights of America and our democracy go off.
Mm-hmm.
They turn off. Yes.
Well,
and I see a note that passed here. Ira said Michael Vick is far from broken, destitute. I didn't imply that he was broken, destitute. But I did say that, one, he had $100 million contract that Atlanta Falcons voided when he got in trouble, and all the endorsements that he had, which was worth another 100 million plus, left him. So corporate America left him. So yes, he had enough money left over that more than the common man that's out here working at whatever, but he still needs a job. He does not have enough money where he can, or income to retire and not have to hit a lick for the rest of his life.
Well, I wish him well for the sake of Norfolk State University.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's my real concern. Even though I talk trash about the different schools, I did take classes there, so I have a little bit of green and gold inside of me, and I'm really concerned about the university and it's moving up as far on the spectrum as it can as a university. And with all this attention, even if he stays there a little while and Virginia Tech comes after him, and Virginia Tech probably won't come after him unless he has a degree. So hopefully, but if Virginia Tech comes after him and he leaves, or does just like the other coach did, hopefully he'll set a foundation there for the future of Norfolk State. Because we'll already be on the map, and they're already on the map because you can't take it from them. They've done some things, and they have some people come through there that have done some amazing things, not only athletically, but in the education side.
Exactly.
So you think about all the people that graduated from there, like Leah, that are out there doing some great things. The Colonel doing some great things, and so it's already standing there on its own. But a little boost from that kind of attention, it won't hurt.
No,
so I wish him well. I wish the football team well, but more so for the university as a whole.
Yes, and to also echo on that. Yes, I wish him well. I want him to succeed. But I also said, and I stand by it, I want him to teach the young kids the lessons of life, that this is not a fairy tale, and to teach those who, like I say, run out and go down south to the SEC or these other universities, PWIs, what is the message that you're sending, and then what are you getting out of it in the long run? Come back in the day, HBCU schools, when I was coming through, Grambling, Southern, Norfolk State, all the universities. This is the way. This is Elizabeth City State. These were the schools, and Winston-Salem State. These are the schools that gave us a chance, and we're going back into it this time because now, and now that the Confederacy is alive and well and is back, they've gotten their country back. And we've got a two sections of our country. Our Confederacy is alive and well. And so we have to have and put our money back in the HBCU schools, because we know they're going to be assaulted. Because if you look at Project 2025, they are already going to cut all money set aside for, not cut, but eliminate all monies going to set aside for HBCU schools. And then so because they want to eliminate those programs and eliminate those schools. Because why? They know education is a quick way to the middle class. And if you make it to the middle class and you have an education, then you no longer are a Trump voter or a MAGA voter, because you'll have critical thinking skills, and they don't want that. They want you to be greed, and that's how they maintain power, even though they can't govern. As long as they have somebody to fight against, then we don't have to worry about policies that are for people. Yes.
Lisa Graham has jumped back to Michael Vick, and she says, also being that someone called him, he didn't call them. God used someone's heart to make a recommendation, and they took it, and it's great for the young people. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Lisa, for your comments. Thank you so very much.
Yeah, and I want to thank everybody for making the comments they've been making today. This is what we look for, participation from the viewers, and we really appreciate you commenting and giving us something to food for thought and something to further our conversations. And as you said, Lisa, it was those coaches that I mentioned that had the PhDs, they were on the list. They were on the list, you know, to be considered the coaches of Norfolk State. So it must have been some kind of divine intervention that made someone, or the thought that we need the kind of notoriety that he can bring, you know. So whichever way you want to see it, that included his name in there, and he rose to the top over those people that were already on the list. So.
Yes,
yeah. PR wise, it was a great selection, and it'll give the sugar high. But you know, there's lessons to it when we look past that. And I'm one to look, you know, in the immediate and on the long term. And if we get to if he can stay here for the long term, but for the short term, it is meeting the goal that the athletic director sought. I got the sugar high. I got the excitement. I got our name out there. ... I've met all those goals. Now it is going time to put in the recruiting piece, and then we can get some wins, and we try to build on something that's starting from now. And so it's meeting all the short-term goals set by the athletic director.
And you know, we can't overlook the fact that this is good PR and this will bring a lot of people, but also it's obligation of the alums from this university to make sure they support the university and the support, and a lot of people do. But if you think about, and just like Leah, you think about all the people that graduated from IC Northam, if all those people just gave $1 back,
if they gave $1, James,
it would never be a need for fundraising ever again. So the same thing for Norfolk State University. You can't sit back and wait for these opportunities like a Michael Vick coming in and say, okay, now I'm going to support. You know, you have to just support these universities because they gave a lot to you and that put you in a position that helped. I'll put it this way, because it was a lot of things that went along with the making of people. But your education is a big part of that. And so not giving back to a university or a school that gave so much to you, you know, that says a lot. So a lot of the responsibility is on us, even going back in there and you being a mentor. You know, we talked about Michael Vick sharing his experiences, you know, so you can't just say, I walked through there, put on that cap and gown and walk away and never come back or never be concerned about the university. So I had to throw that point in there too, because as we talk about all this stuff, a lot of responsibility goes on the people that walk those halls.
Yes.
So we're at 7:54, huh?
Yeah.
Time flew this morning.
Wow. Yep. Want to say Happy New Year and really stay tuned. We have some things coming up. We're going to have some focus on civics because we think, and I don't know how you all feel about it, a lot of things were missing, especially locally. We want to try to educate the people on how government works, because sometimes I see people go before city council, say, well, you don't need to be there. You need to be at the school board, or you need to do this, or certain processes that you might be able to take that that city council can't do for you right away.
Mhm,
So,
mhm.
so we're gonna I've already contacted the city attorney, and hopefully we have a representative from her office just to give us a breakdown on how government works, how city
Mhm,
government works, especially in city
mhm,
enforcement,
mhm.
and the different levels of administration and what you need to do if you have certain problems. And Colonel, you've had some experiences lately, going in there trying to get the right people to do the right thing. So hopefully what we'll bring to you as far as that's concerned will help you and save time. And, if that doesn't work, then you go to city council and you
Mhm.
have something to back you up. Say, this is what I did. Make sure you document whatever you're doing down there at
Mhm.
City Hall. So when you have to go before city council, you'll have proof that you did this and do that. No use going before city council and they tell you, well, you have to go there first.
Yeah,
So that's
yeah.
working backwards. That's
The
working
process.
backwards.
Learn the
So,
process. Learn the
right. So
process.
Yeah.
learn the process. Yeah.
Mhm. Well, guys, I
Yes.
just knew that my fellow Portsmouth Coffee Talk people would have on their cowboy hats today. Woohoo! Go
I,
Commanders! Go
I couldn't find it.
Commanders! I wore my shirt for you because I knew that you were diehard cowboy fans. I knew you were going to have on those cowboy hats today. Go Commanders!
I'm going to change the subject and show this.
Oh, I love that, James. I love that. I love that. I need one of those, James. I love
Well,
that. Pass of 72.
Yeah. I got this. It's a fella, and I will mention him on one of our shows. It's a fella that when I went to the tailgating, he was doing these things, and I said, "Wow, that's great to
Okay.
have
That's
a
nice.
pal like that." So did I
No,
change
you
the
didn't.
subject? Did I divert from that?
I still didn't hear you say "Go Commanders" because I saw you, James, on Facebook saying, "Oh, I don't think I could be a Cowboy fan no more. I can't do this." One thing I can say about my son-in-law, in the down times of the Commanders, he stayed true to his Commanders. So to my son-in-law, Derek Powell, who gave me this Daniel shirt and told me I had to wear it the days that the Commanders play, I have, and they have come through. So congratulations to the Commanders.
Yeah,
yes.
I'm not going anywhere. That was just an emotional
I know, I
uh,
know, I
at the
know.
time. But don't forget, we beat y'all the first time in your
Yeah,
own
y'all did.
backyard.
You
So
did. But we got you at the last second of the game this time.
yeah, by the backup quarterback.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
So what a way. I mean, it should have ended that way for us because we've had a awful season this year, and hopefully, you know, things will get better because we need that rivalry going,
Yeah,
but it
Yeah.
has to be competitive rivalry.
yeah.
You know.
Well, we all have ups. The Commanders were in a lull for a long time now. It's been a long time for them, so it was time for them to rise to the top. So we
Yeah,
appreciate.
yeah,
Yeah.
and they got the right quarterback. Just keep him
They do.
healthy.
They do.
Good taking him out the game, before he got hurt.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yep.
Okay. Any quick last comments? We got about 1 minute left before we go.
Just want to say Happy New Year to everyone out there, and we hope that you all would take the time and still pay close attention. It's not an election time. Elections will come around again this year, so pay close attention as to who's running for office, what their platform is, and as James says, learn the process. And in the process of learning, you will know, and don't just take what a politician says. Go back, do your research, and challenge these individuals. Challenge them as they're out there telling you these things that they plan to do or they hope to do. So make sure that you do your research. This is another election year coming up. So I just will pray that God will bless each of you and that you will have a prosperous new year, a prosperous 2025.
Yes. And I'd like to echo what Leah said, and Happy New Year's. I think that if all people, especially people of color, be very diligent, because we've already seen the remnants of this tidal wave of white supremacy that is starting to flourish and blossom across this country. It's going to be a dangerous, very dangerous next 4 years with the new regime coming in and this mindset of MAGA that they can get away with anything. And so watch yourselves financially, and don't get overextended, and just hold on to your pocketbook, because you will need it, because those hard times are going to come. That's my prediction. Hard times are going to come. We've got the regime king, the mob boss, Mr. Trump, is just like last time. He's going to ride a nice high because we have a great economy that Obama gave him the first time. President Biden is giving him a great economy this time. And if you notice, they talked about how bad it was, but as soon as the election was over, how great it is. But they're going to ruin it again. And we have to keep your eyes open. You know, there'll be another pandemic or something that's going to come there that we have to keep vigilant and protect ourselves, because no one in the federal government or state government is coming to help us. And so that is my Nostradamus prediction for the next 4 years.
Thank you, Colonel. Thank you, Leo. And you've been listening to the Portsmouth Coffee Talks podcast 2025. And we appreciate all your comments, and because this show is for you. So get involved and make your comments and participate with us. And we look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.
Take care.
Take care.